Oh man, holy shit. This game, oh my god, it's good. Like, really fucking good. Okay, so when this game was first announced, I thought it was a great idea, and to see Insomniac were behind it gave me so much confidence. I really wanted this game to do for Spider-Man what the Arkham games did for Batman, and after seeing gameplay at E3 a year later, oh goddamn, I was sold. Now, I'm not hugely into Spider-Man as I am into something like Batman, but I still know and enjoy a reasonable amount of Spider-Man lore, so I was very excited for this game, and even then, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Not only being one of my favourite games of the year so far, but one of the best superhero games, period. And now, I will be going into a lot of spoilers here, so just take heed. Spider-Man follows an experienced adult Spider-Man 8 years into his career, so no origin crap, just straight into this established world. After achieving his long-term goal of capturing the crime lord Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, Spider-Man is now suddenly faced with an uprising crime attempting to raise into the void left by Fisk, mainly by this strange gang called the Demons. And damn, as soon as that first mission ends, New York is suddenly your oyster, and Christ, I had so much fun from the get-go. I mean, everything this game does in its story, controls, structure and design all blend so well to, well, for lack of a better phrase, feel like Spider-Man. There, I said it. I got it out of the way. I don't mean to sound cliche, but it really does. I mean, where to start with this? I suppose with this game, the controls and the web slinging is the big thing, and it could not be more satisfying. It's all about momentum and speed. Every movement feels so responsive, quick and zippy, and the game ensures that this is never lost. You always need a building or nearby structure to swing from, and you can gain speed by diving or latching onto points and launching off them. And even when you mess up and hit a wall, you automatically start wall running and you'll be able to launch off at the top. And the way Spider-Man adapts to maneuver the environment by diving through grates or running up fire escapes is such a nice touch. It's designed so smoothly so as not to lose the sense of exhilaration while swinging, and it's just so wonderfully addictive and is by far the best part of the game. The combat is also so smooth and zippy, and yes, the base of it is more or less just the Arkham combat system. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But it adapts it to Spider-Man's moveset and abilities, with movement being more emphasized here. It's also very well balanced. The combat is not very forgiving, and if you're not paying attention, enemies will take you out in just a few hits. And I actually found the best way to play this combat is by not treating it like the Arkham games. This is Spider-Man after all, and his moveset is all about agility. Launching enemies into the air and beating them up, grabbing things with webs and throwing at them, launching off the wall to insta-kill an enemy. It's all great stuff, and there's even a more strategic nature to it as well. As you fight, you build up your focus meter, which can be used all at once for an instant takedown or gradually to heal yourself. And seeing how aggressive the enemies can be, you really need to be careful and on your guard in combat. And you know what? I would argue it's probably even more satisfying and enjoyable than the Arkham combat, simply due to the higher strategy and more risk and reward nature of it. And there's also plenty of customizability as well as suit powers with the suit mods. Completing challenges around the world unlocks tokens which can be spent on new suits, and by extension unlocking new suit powers and modifications that can be changed at any time, meaning you can plan and adapt your suit abilities to your current situation. Now, despite the strength of the game's combat, I sadly can't say the same for its stealth mechanics. Now, I would never really associate Spider-Man with stealth to begin with, and even then it's kind of underwhelming. It's very basic and a bit too easy. You can just simply shoot at distractions to separate a group and take them down quickly without being caught. Or you could just simply perch up and web up enemies quickly, and there's not much risk to it as the AI isn't too smart and won't notice. It's all just a bit hollow and only serves as a way to clear more dangerous enemies before taking them all on in a full combat situation. Aside from this, there also are some gameplay sections that require you to solve some small puzzles, either fixing a circuit and matching the voltage or matching some chemical ID. And to be honest, I didn't find these as annoying as most people did. They're simple, quick, and they weren't overused, and they did help to break up the main gameplay a little. The game's story also really surprised me in just how much I was invested, considering I'm not that huge into Spider-Man lore. It does a great job of showing the struggle of Peter Parker balancing his personal life and superhero life. The game breaks the campaign up into 3 main acts, focusing on Peter tracking down the Demons and Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative. As well as this, he's trying to mend his relationship with MJ, meeting and mentoring Mars Morale, and his job and friendship with Dr. Otto Octavius, who over the course of the game we see gradually lose himself to his own anger and the neural chip in his mind, turning him into Dr. Octopus and assembling the Sinister Six to send the city into chaos. And if there's one thing this story does so well, it's how it emphasizes the stakes of what's going on, not only for Spider-Man but for Peter in his personal life. The voice acting is amazing, and it goes a long way in giving depth and a unique portrayal for these well-known characters. And by showing the balance of both of Peter's lives, it allows for plenty of emotional connection and equal amounts of tense action. Seeing the friendship between Peter and Otto and watching him gradually transform and Peter's subsequent guilt for not being able to help him. MJ and Peter's relationship becoming more complicated as they work together to try and stop Otto. And my god, the ending. Without showing it, the ending gave me a surprisingly tearful and emotional conclusion to the game's events, all while setting up a potential sequel brilliantly. And I'll admit, yes, it's not the most complex story out there. It's actually a fairly by-the-numbers comic book story, and it is quite predictable. But the stakes, emotion, and character is what elevates it, hooks you in, and drives you all through it. I mean, there's not really much bad I can say about this game, aside from the aforementioned stealth sections, and except for maybe some of the more repetitive parts of the side content. Now, a lot of the side missions I really enjoyed. I actually got wildly distracted a lot just from stopping random crimes, finding Peter's old backpacks, infiltrating bases. But I can't deny that it does get repetitive. It is the same thing over and over, and it's not a lot different from some of the stuff we see in other open world games. But I would argue that the gameplay is just so strong and fun that it almost doesn't matter. It's just more of an excuse for you to swing around and have fun with the combat more. But if the gameplay hadn't been that strong, I probably would have just shrugged it off. The only other thing I found repetitive were the boss fights. Now again, I still enjoyed these, yet when it came down to it, it was all the same web them up, dodge and wait for your attack opening. But because the gameplay is still so strong and fun, I really don't mind it so much. I mean, just exploring New York City, like, look at it, just look at it. I'm never usually a big fan of open worlds in games, but this was just so impressive to me. The detail in this city is amazing, how easy it is to get around and learn, how alive it feels. It's astonishing how the PS4 is managing to do all this. Just the ability to greet people on the street, riding the subway, how Jameson on his radio show reacts to events you do in the city, it's all just perfect. And I can confidently say that Insomniacs Spider-Man is one of the best superhero games ever made, despite some small issues, and it rightfully deserves a 9.5 out of 10. You know, it's games like this that really make me glad that I've got a PS4. And the game's hints at a sequel and an even bigger expanded Marvel gaming universe make me so excited to see where this game's success leads to. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you in the next video.